My name is Don Coyce, and I'm the president and founder of White Bison, which is located in Colorado Springs. It's been about 3 weeks since we released the Journey for Forgiveness documentary. There's been over 6,500 views on YouTube, and we have shipped over 2,000 hard copies for those who have requested hard copies of it. So we just thought a very quick update on the lessons that we have learned during these past 3 weeks since the release of the documentary. One of the biggest discoveries we made that we learned on our journey was facing our communities is unresolved grief. That was a result that we have been handed intergenerationally as a result of the boarding schools. The second one is the boarding school took away our ability to love. So how we've reacted to the input that we've gotten from all of you is that we have created a program called Mending Broken Hearts. It's a Native American approach to healing unresolved grief. And the second lesson that we learned on the journey was we not only have to heal the grief that we have in our day-to-day lives, but also we carry within inside of ourselves 7 generations. So in other words, if our ancestors suffered from the result of the boarding school or they were hurt and it wasn't resolved, then we are carrying around the unresolved grief even from 7 generations before us. And those 7 generations is added to the intergenerational grief in our communities, which is very, very deep now in our psyche. And we know that this unresolved grief lies dormant for 2, 3, 4 generations. And what we are seeing now is that this intergenerational trauma is just now surfacing in our communities all over the United States. And due to researchers like Dr. Maria Braveheart and to Dr. Duran, is we now are able to tie this unresolved grief, this intergenerational trauma, to the current social problems that we have in our community today. So now we know what's behind the alcoholism, the violence, the sexual abuse, etc., is that we must heal from the unresolved grief. And this is what we're handed down generation to generation, the intergenerational trauma. And this is the cycle that we must break. So the new model that we have for healing our community is to, very early, is to put in the grief healing coaches. This is a training called the Mending the Broken Hearts. Then once we get the coaches trained, then they will start to help process the unresolved grief in the communities. And then out of that, we'll be able to start to bring in things like the 7 trainings. And so some of you then may be interested in helping with a training called the Medicine Wheel 12 Steps. Some of you will be interested in helping implementing the training with the Families of Traditions. And then, of course, the other programs that we have, the Daughters of Traditions, the Sons of Traditions. So this will build an infrastructure of continuous healing in our communities, along with the fatherhood and the motherhood programs that we have. So this new program that we have, Mending Broken Hearts, a Native American cultural approach to healing unresolved grief. So as the coaches get the training, they will form these circles within the community and on an ongoing basis to help process the grief, because we suffer so much death, so much loss, issues around suicide, the violence. And so we are in a process now of training the coaches. So this is what the coaches will do in the community. We know that in our community, this intergenerational trauma has caused a lot of pain. It has caused the hurt. It has caused the issues, even the 7 generations inside. And the elders tell us our freedom to be free for this intergenerational trauma is going to be to forgive, to even forgive the unforgivable. So over a period of time, as we learn to process the grief, the hurt, and even the 7 generations hurt inside of ourselves, and to bring back the culture, we'll find that our communities will be well on their way into healing and coming back to many of our traditional teachings that we had before. Because I think all of us know that we are at a point where we must grieve our losses in relationships, we must grieve our hurts, and learn how to do that in a very healthy way. So you can watch our website, but we are implementing this grief healing coach training across the United States. Another input that we got over the last couple of weeks is we know that many of the communities having a very difficult time now with air flights, with travel, the economic times, cutback in grants, and many of the things that are happening in our communities. So what we have decided to do was to make it possible for the Wellbriety Training Institute to go mobile. So in other words, any of the trainings that you would feel that you needed to come to the Institute for, we now are able to bring that training to your communities. And so just contact the White Bison office, or you can email info@whitebison.org to get the details on how to bring the training to your communities. So in order for our effort to stop handing down this intergenerational trauma training, and how do we break the cycle, is that instead of passing it down the trauma, the intergenerational historical trauma, is that we break the cycle here. It's 2011. We break the cycle and we start to hand the healing down. And as we do that, then what we'll see is a change in our children. Our children won't have to suffer for us if we are willing to cry so that they don't have to. The other thing I would just want to mention before I close this is to look forward to next month. We're going to be announcing a new program. It's called Women in Wellbriety. This is the year for the healing of Native women. Cheryl Whitehawk will be heading up this program. And as we bring the training specifically and focus on the healing of our Native women, she will help us to organize these circles of 100 women, women in Wellbriety, and we'll be forming these circles regionally around the United States. And so we'd like you to watch the website next month when we announce this new program called Women in Wellbriety. We still are making major efforts to release the documentary. You can get free copies of it by sending email to info@whitebison.org. Make sure you leave a mailing address that we send it to. We have a plan also. We're still pursuing the apology from President Obama for the government's role in boarding schools. And so the original plans we had of forming the commission of healing the healers types of training, that's still all in the planning, so you just need to pay attention. I'd like to thank everyone for all the support in helping getting this word out about the documentary. And just to sum it up, as if you want to bring any of our trainings, the Medicine Wheel 12 Steps, Sons, Daughters trainings, Family Series, whatever it is, we now have the ability to bring it right to your community. So thank you very much for this message, and if you get this, pass it on so that we keep getting the word out, that we continue to grow in this Wellbriety movement. Thank you very much.